Hi guys, this is Fade from nerdfades.blogspot.com, and this is the 16th Faidian Slip. For new channel subscribers, Faidian Slips are basically videos I put out every once in a while, just updating you on what I've been doing, what's been working, what hasn't been working, etc. in gold making since my last Faidian Slip. They're semi-regular, but basically I just post one if I have something to say or want to give you guys an update. In video today, video doesn't necessarily have anything to do with what I'm talking about, it's just something pretty to look at. I am healing a random heroic on my brand new level 85 shaman as of this morning, because dwarves are awesome. And so you get to watch that while I go through all of this gold talk. The main news since the last Faidian Slip is of course that 4.1 has released, the first major content patch. I guess some people might not consider it major, but the first content patch of Cataclysm. I've been having a lot of fun. This is the one that had the Zandalari dungeons in it. I'm actually trying to get the item level on the shaman to go get some of those sweet looking ZAZG loots. I made a lot of gold with this patch, certainly not as much as the Great Glyph patch of Wrath of the Lich King, but I made quite a bit, mostly through selling cut gems. Everyone anticipated these new pieces of gear would, they have sockets in them, so everyone's going to need gems, and we were right. I was constantly transmuting gems just so I could have enough to cut, and I probably made about 90k on cut gems for 4.2, which really worked out very well in my favor. Yay for preparation paying off. I wasn't really too into the ZGZA on my main, since of course there was one gear upgrade that I think I needed to replace a blue off of in one of my off specs, but it wasn't really that interesting to me from a playing perspective. It was kind of interesting from a raid perspective. There are a multitude of BOE blues, BOE epics, gotta love the epics, that drop in these ZGZAs. They're 353, so they shouldn't be an upgrade for anyone who has been raiding quite a bit, but for the casuals, not saying that in a bad way, it definitely, it can be very enticing to get these epics, and for a while their price was fluctuating drastically on my server because no one really knew how common they actually were, how much people were going to be willing to pay for them, etc., and people were constantly undercutting. Most of them have pretty much evened out right now. Depending on the piece, I think the tank cloak is going for like 400 gold, while the caster cloak's going for 3,700, and so it's definitely a varied lot, but definitely some gold to be made there if you can get them. I personally am not flipping them, because when you can farm these with a 5-man that you can queue for all day if you want to, it doesn't really seem like a great investment to me, and I'm not really one who likes to flip that kind of stuff anyways. There's actually two features that came out in this patch that I actually really have enjoyed, one of which is, since I'm taking advantage of it in the video right now, I'll talk about, which is the Call to Arms feature, so that when a roll, we'll just say tanks or healers, because haha, like it's ever going to be DPS, but when a roll is needed, they get Call to Armsed, and when you complete the dungeon as one of those, if you solo queue, you get this bag. I'm sure you all know what it is by now. Basically, I haven't gotten anything really cool out of my bags yet, but usually I get around, I think the lowest gold I've gotten is like 32, but I average over 80 gold per bag. So on top of the 83 gold I get for queuing from a random in the first place, I'm getting 160 gold for tanking or healing a random. So it is awesome, and that's on top of all the other drops. I love Call to Arms, mostly because I don't really play pures. I don't think I have a character that can't heal or tank, actually. So that's fun. And the other thing that I've been doing a lot is, that I've been taking advantage of as a feature of this patch. It really isn't one that most people can take advantage of, but for those who don't know, if you have two accounts on your Battle.net account, they are now a little bit more linked in that you can send BOAs across, so now suddenly all the heirlooms I've had collecting dust are useful again, and also mail is now instant, so I no longer have to have characters on both accounts in a guild bank to have the instant mail thing going on. I can just, I have the one account just for my auction house and banking, and one account just for my characters actually play, and it is so convenient. It's the best change ever. What's the worst change ever, you ask? WoG with a 20-second cooldown. That was stupid. I hope they get rid of it, but hey, I could cry about that all day, and I'm not going to. One thing that I haven't heard a lot of people talk about that does benefit from this patch is archaeology. There are some new rares that were introduced, some of which are just, the usual vanity rares, like there's one that encases you in amber that comes from fossils, which is pretty cool. There's the Vrykle drinking horn, which is the coolest thing ever because you can spam it and make this really annoying noise. But there's also some BOE epics like the best in slot pre-heroic Nefarian tank shield, I believe. And yeah, some good stuff like that. Basically, the reason I talk about this from a gold making perspective is because suddenly people who were done with archaeology or who hadn't really thought about it because there wasn't something they wanted might start taking a second look at archaeology. So basically, well, how do you make gold from archaeology? Keystones. The other change this thing brought to archaeology is that now if you have all the rares for a given race, such as I have all the Night Elf rares, you're less likely to see spawns for that race. So when I am archaeologizing in Kalimdor, where you tend to see Night Elf spawns, I'm going to get fewer of them, which greatly increases the chance I'll get, say, Tol'vir, which is great. So there might be a lot of people who got really discouraged with archaeology coming back, and Keystones are where it's at. Keystones can benefit from bountiful bags, so where someone might find 1 keystone, I've sometimes found up to 4. I've heard reports of up to 7 from guild members, but screenshot or it didn't happen IMOs. So I would start looking at keystones specifically for flipping them, because usually you don't have too many up. You might have 1 Nerubian obelisk up or 3 troll tablets up, and you could probably buy them out and flip them for a profit depending on the price and how big your server is. Now, the very important keystone to talk about here is, of course, troll tablets. They're the most common. On my server, they were going for about 15 gold before the patch. Well, guess what? Now they're going for 110 gold. Why? Why? They didn't add any new epics to trolls. They do still have the Zinrock, one of the most sought after, and then they got 2 other blue quality fun vanity rares. But why do we want these? Well, ZAZG are hard for most players. Also, bear runs can be difficult for pretty much anyone if they're struggling a bit for gear or if they're carrying someone, like selling a bear run. And in each of these new dungeons there is a little quest you can do if you have archaeology, which basically you give it a troll tablet and you will be able to get this buff while you're in the dungeon. And in ZG it's raptors, and in ZA it's little bears. And basically, whenever you're doing anything, be it dealing damage to an enemy or healing an ally, a little bear or raptor will come and help you. But you consume this tablet every time you try and get this buff. So for every bear run people are doing, they need to use a troll tablet. For every difficult pug, which is pretty much all of them, they're going to need a tablet. And that's probably why the price has spiked so high with these, and I'd definitely be taking advantage of it if I were you. Right now, like many gold bloggers, I have turned my eye to possibly preparing for 4.2, checking out the data mined information. Nothing's final yet, so I can't say, oh my god, do this no matter what. But to let you know what I'm going to be doing, I am holding on to all of my volatile fire. I'm going to start looking at possibly stocking up on some true gold, though honestly it'll probably be just enough for what I need made, not to resell. And then I will also likely be holding on to all of my chaos orbs, because I don't know if they're going to stop becoming soulbound on this patch. I think they eventually will, though not necessarily on this patch. But regardless, all of the new craftables still use these orbs. So people who right now are making, a belt for like a 200 gold profit off the mats are going to not have any chaos orbs, and then I'm going to be sitting here with all the chaos orbs, and I'm going to be making all these craftables, and I'm going to be able to charge a lot more because there's not so many out there because everyone else has been wasting theirs so far. So I'm holding on to all my chaos orbs that I get while doing all these dungeons with Call to Arms. And we'll go ahead and wrap that up here. For more gold making information and such, and anything related to my gold aspirations, go ahead and check out nerffades.blogspot.com. There will be the URL in the YouTube comments. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Have a great day.